You simply can't miss out on this jet. It's definitely one of the best 64mm jets on the market right now.
What's going on, YouTube? Today, FMS has given us the 64mm Rafale. Full disclosure, we did not pay for this model. It was provided to us to review, but in the traditional spirit of what we do in this channel, we're going to give you the full lowdown of what we actually think about it.
But before we talk about the Rafale, let's take a peek at the flying weather today using Aeromura, an app that we've partnered with. The weather looks great, so let's get this jet ready to fly. If you want to try Aeromura for yourself, consider using the voucher code in the description for a discount.
This is flying, we're going to fly on a Spectrum 4000 4S 2250C pack is what I meant to say. You can see that I haven't changed anything. It's running on an AR631 with the antenna up back here. The Reflex system is running directly to it, so the model is actually being stabilized in stock configuration. See how she handles? If you have a rougher bit of pavement like I do, you're going to notice it's very loud. Let's go ahead and do our pre-flight check. And you can see it's trying to auto-correct itself. So you can see it's actually set up correctly. You go down, point the nose down, the elevons move up. You point the nose up, the elevons move down. When you push that wing up, that elevon goes up to push it down and vice versa. Flip it upside down just because everybody likes watching it do that. It's basically safe. So try to keep it nice and tight for me, buddy. It's not too tight though. So far, it feels like the 80mm big brother, or big sister. Needs some trimming. There we go. I'm gonna stand behind you, out of your way. This is super easy to fly already. Let's see the roll rate. Yeah, that's, to me, that's unacceptable. I want that to be barely pushing the stick, not full over. But I can fix that when I take Reflex out. Wow, it's got some interesting habits. How are you keeping up with it?
It's doing good.
Yeah.
It took off like a rocket in the beginning, but
a little bit.
We got it.
Let's see if we can get her into some high alpha flying. To say that this is hard would be a joke. This is actually super easy. I'm barely pulling the stick. Gonna use some right aileron, add some more throttle to keep it level. Keep the bank going right. There we go. And look at this thing, it's super stable. I think it'd be way more fun to fly with the wheels removed. They do pop right out. It's not hard to take them out at all. Look at how dumb this is, man. I don't have any battery telemetry, so I'm just gonna have to, probably land around the 3:30 minute mark. Let's put her inverted, see how nose heavy she is, and see if we can go further back with the CG. A little bit. Go hands off one more time. Hands off. It's on the nose heavy side of things, but it's not too bad. Let's get her down for a nice low high alpha pass. Now, if you guys are looking for a 64mm jet, my honest viewpoint on this so far is it's actually pretty fun to fly. I don't know how well it's going to handle turbulence, but let's do a quick touch and go, see how it handles that. Same with the big Rafale, just kind of hold the nose up, destroy some the airspeed. Able to catch that, buddy?
Yep.
Bringing them nice and close for you. Okay, we're gonna go up, before we run this battery down, we're gonna try inverted high alpha. Get it up nice and high. Okay, that's really stable. Using some rudder to steer it. This is goofy.
It is.
I'm full, okay, we're gonna get it out. I was almost full stick up, but then it started going toward the trees, and I'm like, let's not be too goofy with it just yet, because we still have to record some more footage with it. So we're gonna make this a quick flight. We're actually gonna cut here as soon as I land and get it taxied over. I'm gonna get it center lined here. Pull that nose up. It is loud, Very, very loud. I'm gonna go get my battery checker and we're gonna see how much voltage it ended with. What's the voltage sitting at right now? 3.77, so it was actually a good choice to land when I did. Now we're gonna push this battery further back. We're gonna see how much more agile this thing's going to be.
Ooh, that's a bit ways back.
Yes, should have actually. So the CG before, I'll show you where it was. This is where the battery was sitting right here. Let's go ahead and plug all this in. CG was sitting, the plane flipped upside down. FMS calls for it to balance about right here. We were balancing slightly behind the wing screw. So right here is where we were balancing when it was expecting to balance right there. So now when we push this battery further back, let's see what we can get. Take this strap, shove this battery all the way back as far as it'll go. Without going too far back, that is. Plug in the XT60/IC3 connector. They do plug in together, just like the EC3 connectors will go into the XT60s. Okay, flip her upside down so we have the same exact test for both. Balancing slightly nose down right here, so we moved back about 10 millimeters from where we were. Where my middle finger was, that is. Let's take it up. Ready? Give me some good zoom. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it lifted up real nice, that one.
Yeah, you can tell the center of gravity shifted. Let's go give it the 80 millimeter test. There we go. It's not as responsive as the 80, but it's a 64 millimeter jet with not a whole lot of mass to it. So, you know, I'm not expecting it to be the 80. Let's give it the inverted CG test real quick. Hands off. Much less noticeable on the nose drop. Go ahead and put it down 45 degrees, thrust off. That wasn't too bad either. It's actually about close to neutral. Getting close to you. That sounds really good for a 64 millimeter motor, my man.
It does.
Legitimately shocked at how good that sounds. A lot of 64s don't have a very good sound to them at all. And this one I think has like an 11 blade motor in it. Look at that booty slide around. You saw that?
I saw it. Nice.
Any focusing issues?
Nope.
Cool.
Nice inverted.
Let's just keep it inverted for a bit. Get some right rudder to flip it around at us. Getting nice and low. Power for days in this thing. It almost exited into high alpha. That was cool. Let's see if it'll knife edge. So I prefer doing knife edges right to left. That's how I learned it. So we're gonna go ahead and get lined up for that. High speed. That is not a knife edge at all. It was just basically a ballistic track, even with the rudder. So let's see, how many minutes? 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Let's go ahead and drop it real quick. See what the voltage is. Since I don't have any measuring system, I'm just gonna have to go by best feeling. That wobbling was me actually messing with the rudder a little bit, trying to keep it tracking on the center line. Servo tester. We are at storage voltage 3.785 across all cells for 15.12 volts total. So the way I flew, we got a total of 2 minutes and 28 seconds out of that. So if you are looking for a jet that is going to have a ton of flight time, this is so far not the one you're going to be looking for. But if you're okay with adding a heavier battery pack, maybe if you took out the FMS Reflex and you put in, I don't know, maybe a 2700 or a 3200 pack, if it would even fit, I think you could get more flight time out of it without sacrificing the airframe's performance. Go ahead and slide that battery back as far as it'll go. We're gonna go even further this time. We're not even gonna strap it in all the way back. Hey, FMS wanted me to get cool content. That's what they said.
Let's see what that's at again. How did they get that?
Oh, I just shoved it. I could probably keep going, honestly. I could just shove it even further back. There we go.
Holy cow.
It's literally just wedged in there. So let's see what our center of gravity is now. Okay, actually I should flip it over so it's consistent. We are at slightly nose down right here. Does that look further back from the last time?
Yes, where your middle finger is?
Yeah, I'm giving you the finger on this one. We're gonna take off towards those trees, or away from the trees, just in case this does get super squirrely. Gonna rotate super easy now, I bet. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah.
Okay, we are still in the CG range. Oh yeah, boy! That's what I've been waiting for. Okay, I think I got it trimmed. Oh my god, I'm barely pulling the stick and it's super responsive. We might be approaching tail heaviness on this one. That's kind of where I wanted it to be. Let's give it some speed. Oh yeah, much more responsive. This is where it's more fun. Let's throw it upside down. That's neutral. So the plane basically just goes where you tell it to. I'm having mosquitoes biting my arm. Get off of me, you stupid bugs. Oh my god, I'm barely... Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. You just barely touched the stick in it.
Let's go vertical. Yeah, this is the importance of a good center of gravity, guys. We were flying super nose heavy. Look at it go. Much more agile. This is how the 80mm flies. Let's go vertical again. Yeah, I like this. You got to keep the throttle on a little bit more, just because I'm afraid of stalling it. But this is way more fun to fly now, man. Get that, just shove that battery as far back as it'll go. And then consider taking the Reflex box out and use the FMS or the Spectrum receiver as your AS3X gains or whatever. And I think you'll be good to go. Put it into inverted high alpha up here. I don't have to do much. There we go, full stick up. Let's turn it.
Nice.
Okay, no. There we go. It's getting a little wonky. It's definitely touchy here. I'm glad I put the expo in that I gave it. It almost feels like it doesn't have enough now. Let's give it another load it roll. Golly, this thing's cool now. See, now when you guys hear me, when I'm saying this kind of stuff, it's because I legitimately believe that it's fun to fly. It was pretty cool and okay at the beginning. It's like, okay, it's a baby Rafale, but now it's flying so good that I almost don't want to stop, and I know that the batteries are almost dead. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring her in. We'll see how well it lands now.
Nice high
That
alpha
is the
landing.
content that FMS wanted to see. Did you see that?
I saw that.
That is what we were looking for.
Awesome.
I'm kind of sad I only brought 3 batteries, or 4 batteries. Okay, this is shoved all the way in the back again, as I said last time, guys. I'm glad I started nose heavy and progressively worked our way back. It gives you guys an idea of what to expect. Keeping an eye out, rather, for full-scale traffic, making sure Mark's not coming in. We're going to be flying with him very soon, guys. By the time you've seen this, you've no doubt seen the tail heavy collaboration that I did with the fellows up in New Hampshire. And I can't wait to go flying again. Let's see here. Oh yeah, about the same point as it was last time. So let's go grab one more battery and let's really burn this thing down. Okay, go ahead and reset the timer. There we go. Did you get that?
I got it.
All right. Come with Sam right there. We're going to do some high alpha passes with it. We got into alpha lock there. Saw how much I pushed it and it wasn't going down? You got to be very careful with this. That's why we're going to do it lower to the ground. If you get that nose up too high, you'll get into high alpha lock, meaning you cannot get it to come down. Most of the time, to get away from that, it's best to use, to chop the throttle, and that'll let the nose come down naturally. But if you can't do that, it's okay. That's why we're gonna do it nice and close to the ground here. What do you think of that?
That was crazy.
That is alpha lock.
Yeah.
That was alpha lock. See my face? High alpha lock. And guess what? I think that's Mark. There he is right up there. The best part about that? Literally not even damaged in the slightest. Look at that. We're gonna take it right back up as soon as Mark comes down. He's checking to make sure that the field is clear. Go ahead and switch to him. Give him a big old wave. What's going on, buddy? Look at that bank angle he's got up there. That's like a 60-degree bank.
Nice. Lock is something serious.
Oh yeah, no, it's especially prevalent on the free-wing MiG. We're at 4.06 per cell, 16.24. Yeah, he's going right through it. Oh, you see it?
Nice.
Did you see the vortices?
Yeah, I did.
So by now you've just seen the alpha lock and what happens. So the simple explanation for that is when you have a plane that is, let this thing, there we go, initialize first. Let the gyro do its thing. So alpha lock is basically this thing normally flying like this, you know, got enough airspeed over the wing, the control surfaces have an effect. But at lower airspeeds and super high angle of attack, you start flying literally on thrust alone. And that's what it was doing here when it came in. When you heard me throttle up, you saw it kind of like start flying and it went more like this. And it ended up landing on the tail because the amount of thrust was overcoming the ability, I mean, it's just making the plane fly. It literally flew on thrust alone. That was a Harrier and a Rafale. And I couldn't believe that this jet could do it. I'm glad I didn't do it up in the air. Any higher than that, I would have actually destroyed the plane. But here, what ended up happening is it was enough to make it started doing this, and it just dropped and then fell down and flipped over itself. So it's still perfectly good to go. The battery was sitting at almost 4.1 volts per cell. Let's do this. Even a bump on the pavement is enough to actually get this thing to flip around. So we gotta be very careful that we don't get into alpha lock. So we can do high alpha with it, but you gotta be sure that you're going fast enough to be able to push that nose down, which is what you saw me just do now. So if other reviewers out there have talked about alpha lock, I think they didn't know what the terminology was, which is okay, not everybody's gonna know that. I didn't actually know what it was until my friend Hondro told me about it with relation to the free-wing MiG-29, which apparently experiences it really bad because of the thrust line it's got. So this is a good high alpha right here, but anything more than that, and you gotta have enough airspeed to push that nose down or it will get stuck. And if it gets stuck, it's gonna slide, and if it slides, it's gonna go who knows where. So let's put it inverted again. Just needs a slight bit of stick pressure to keep it inverted, which is really nice.
Equals 2.3. 1 minute.
I wanna see if this thing will actually Cobra now. I don't think that it will. Stay away from Mark's Cirrus over there. But for this, we're gonna go up nice and high. We're already getting locked into it, see that? This is gonna be interesting, watching how it's performing. 3, 2, 1. You saw that?
Yep.
That got locked into that position. So that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that, which is why we do some of these things really high in the air. And if you're hearing the receiver complain about the G-force, it's because I haven't programmed it, which I probably could do. But yeah, I definitely would not recommend flying this jet at this center of gravity unless you're experienced enough to know how the plane's going to fly. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of touching going. There we go. That's another reason why it tends to bounce in the air when it's definitely toward the tail heavy aspect. You're gonna get some, like, tail it pitches down weirdly too. It's definitely touchy. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and land it. I'm gonna use the last and remaining battery to shove the battery forward, and we're gonna land it correctly and do a couple of touch and goes with it, show you guys what it's really capable of in terms of smooth handling. Okay, we got locked into that again. Just a little bit of stick movement is all it needed. So we're gonna check the voltage again real quick, which is in my back pocket. Since we don't have any voltage telemetry on this jet, which kind of sucks, I like having that. So I could have put a receiver in there that would have let me do it, but it would have been overkill. Can you hear me from all the way back there?
Come closer.
You good, man? Just checking. Okay, let's get this thing on the right spot. It's in the wrong hole. There we go. 3.7. We could go up for a couple more touch and goes, but we've got to make it quick. So let's go ahead and pull this battery forward, much more forward, to about right here. As long as the battery strap is over the front of it, it should be incapable of easily hitting alpha lock like it was. See how it's much less prone to pitching the way it was before? It still bounced. So let's get a couple touch and goes in here now that the center of gravity is really where it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's definitely trying to nose down more. So you see how much better and controllable that is? I was able to give it a little bit of a flare to keep the nose pointed up. Let's give it one or two more of these and that's it. And then we'll call it quits so we don't hit LBC and destroy the plane. We promised FMS we'd make more content for them. So that porpoising was me pulling the stick back, and because it's nose heavy, the plane is trying to be stable by holding the nose down on its own. I could trim that out even more, but it changes depending on the amount of airspeed the plane has. The slower it is, the more it wants to point down, which is why it tends to be hard to flare some planes that are nose heavy. So there we go. So what's going on, guys? We are on day 2 with the FMS 64mm Rafale. We already kind of covered most of the flight characteristics, but now we're going to cover it with just an AS3X 631 receiver gyro combination. It's a little wonky looking in here. Sorry if it's not as clean as it was before, but it's my plane, so no big deal. Again, friendly disclosure, FMS did send us this to review for free. I want you guys to know who sends us stuff and the purpose of it. We will not accept anything from people if they just tell us what to say. It's just not the way we do things. FMS just asked to make cool content. We already did that, and we're going to push it even further. We are actually going to fly this now on a 3000 Helios pack. You can get those from Hangar 18 Hobbies. They sell them here. These things are, they've been pretty reliable. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a battery in here, and then we're going to cut down to the takeoff because we're going to do some other crazy stuff with this jet. All right, so we walked down, and we're going to use this little pond here that's formed to our advantage. I have the Helios pack shoved as far back as I can get it to comfortably go. I could go even further, but I've already flown this off camera before, testing it out, and if it goes much further than this on takeoff, it literally flies straight up like this. You don't want that. Looks cool though, but don't want that. So the center of gravity is now sitting slightly nose down right here. So where my middle fingers are is where the center of gravity is. Pretty aggressive, but it's how the 80mm flies too. So we're going to take off right here on this little bumpy stretch. Reminder, this is on the AS3X gyro system. Nice little takeoff there. Go ahead and let's go ahead and take our positions. So the roll rate now.
Nice.
Similar to its big sister. Okay, you're good right about there, I'd say. Now it slides around. Good stuff. It's a fun little jet. I'm actually very happy with this. Of all this, actually I need to stand next to you because nobody can hear me. Of all the stuff FMS has sent us so far, this has been my favorite experience because it flies very similar to the Rafale 80. And it should because it's still a Rafale, it's just lighter weight by far.
Beautiful.
There's that alpha lock a little bit. I was able to get it out. I had enough airspeed. I almost want to do this invert it now. Let's actually do some inverted high alpha with it and see how it handles. You can stand up now if you want.
Got to get that shot, man.
Not bad. I think we get a little lower. Very agile little jet. Let's get a full speed pass right in front of Will and show how agile this thing really is. Flying this within like 50 feet right now. I could fly this in front of my house, man. This is goofy.
Landing might not be all that beautiful though.
No, probably not. All right, we need to actually get ready to land it soonish. But let's do some more inverted high alpha with it. Try not to be too goofy with it, you know. Gotta bring it back. I did tell FMS I would make a lot of content with it. That turn radius with that battery shoved back, and this is on a 3000 pack. So if you get rid of the Reflex gyro, you can really get a lot of agility with some extra flight time. Let's go ahead and get her lined up for the landing. Let's go ahead and walk over here. Get her to settle into high alpha and lock in place when I add some thrust. Well, it did my job for me. It's going all the way back, so now we can just go catch up with it. So you guys can see we have that Reflex removed. We're going to shove this 2200 pack pretty far back in here. Not too far back because it's going to get real squirrely real quick. But this plane is best to fly with the CG as far back as you can get it without it turning into an alpha lock monster every time you pull the elevator. Okay, let's check the CG real quick. We're gonna have fun. Tempted to just hand launch it because I think it'll just take off vertical, but let's go.
It just... Is it the swoosh just now when it went up?
That was just the sound of the air hitting, reflecting off the ground. Yeah, so the trick to flying it like this is you can't keep holding the elevator while you're throttled, going around that loop. Like watch how responsive this thing is. Oh, it's starting to stall. Oh crap. That's alpha lock right there. So we may be needing to land it real quick. So we're gonna go ahead and land it. When you get into alpha lock, if you have enough altitude, you can drop throttle. Otherwise, you can try to wrestle it to the ground. How close did I get to the ground there, you think?
It's pretty close.
That's all right.
I wish I was zoomed out a little bit more. You would have been able to see it.
All right, so we're pulling it back a little bit more to tame it because while it's fun to fly like that, if you make one wrong move, you will alpha lock this plane into oblivion. And alpha lock in this plane is interesting to get out of because it will try to stall on you left and right as it's doing its thing. So actually, yeah, we're good to go. How agile this thing is, man. It's insanely good. This is a 4S 2200 battery we're flying it on too.
Yeah, I gotta get one of these.
How agile this thing. I could probably grab this thing out of midair, dude. I got it dialed in with that AS3X.
Yes. It's definitely locked.
And it's trying to alpha lock itself there too. So what we're gonna do real quick, we're gonna do what I've been doing. Zoom away from ourselves. Try not to burn this battery up too quick, but I wanna do a quick minimum radius landing. Did you zoom out for that?
No, yeah, I was out.
All right, let's do it again. This is fun. I'm so glad FMS sent this to us because I feel like we're really giving the jet a true shake of performance, so what it can really do. I mean, watch this. Full speed. Alpha locked. Use some rudder work to get out of it. You gotta be very careful. It still bites, but it's very forgiving. tearing this thing apart. So put it up real quick. I was gonna try to make it flat spin, but I don't think it's gonna do that. This is just fun to fly, man. I'm sad that the battery's about to die. Using rudder to steer. Barely got it off the ground there. It does sometimes not want to rotate. Golly, this thing's fun, man.
It is.
If you manage the alpha, you can keep it from locking. Alright, I think we got to wrap it up, so we're going to do one more minimum radius turn, and then turn that into our final landing, and then give it a quick once-over again for the maiden review. Insanity!
That's just crazy.
So dumb how good this plane is. That's not a 4-cell 2200 that I'm flying it on, man. This is ridiculously good. I'm gonna pick it up. So, there are some quirks to this that are gonna keep me from saying this is a 10 out of 10 plane. This is like a 9.5 out of 10 plane. For a 4-cell battery operated plane, this thing is really good. Take the Reflex out, you can put a heavier battery into it, you can get more out of it, you can customize it, and on top of that, you can reduce the flying weight nominally, and then put a heavier battery in to replace the weight that you lost from the Reflex. That way you can fly a little bit longer, and then you can make this thing do, I mean, look at the way this thing was flying. I'm just like rotating it around, doing minimum radius turns with it. I really wish I had brought more 4-cell packs because I want to fly it some more. This is like a gem of a plane, guys. Don't let the wheels and the little skinny tires like bother you. If you can get past that and you can appreciate this thing for what it really is, which is an amazing little aerobatic monster, you're gonna have so much fun. I almost want to fly this in my cul-de-sac. I think I could do it. I think I could do it. Solid 9.5 out of 10. Ground handling is just as good, if not way better actually, than the 80mm, which is surprising. There's no gear issues because they just stay out all the time. We need to take, we need to line this thing with electrical tape, the gray electrical tape I've got, and start belly landing it out here and get rid of these gear at some point. If you guys want to get one of these, pick it up from the link in the description. It goes to FMS's website. They have chosen to work with us. I'm really happy that they have because it lets us be a little bit less worried about pushing these planes to their absolute limit so you guys can see what they're actually really capable of. I don't think anyone expected it to fly as well as it did today. This is, again, day number 2 of taking it up and just seeing what it could do. I mean, blew my mind. Like, just like the 80mm, the 64 is an amazing flyer. I think you guys should add it to your hangar. I think you should take the Reflex out if you have an AS3X gyro. I think you're gonna have a ton of fun flying it like this. See you guys again out there.